Anyway, okay, so basically about Iga Swiatek, we're starting with her. You would think that Iga Swiatek, the world's #1 women's tennis player, would easily advance past the third round of Wimbledon. After all, she had just secured her 4th French Open win in June and was riding a 21-match winning streak. Surely the Polish superstar could handle the number 35 ranked Yulia Putintseva. That's actually incorrect. Swiatek fell to her opponent from Kazakhstan in 3 sets, 6-3, 1-6, 2-6. Wimbledon continues to be a challenging tournament for her as she has never progressed beyond the quarterfinals. She said, quote, "Going from this kind of tennis where I felt like I'm playing the best tennis in my life to another surface where I kind of struggle a little bit more, it's not easy. All that stuff really combines to me not really having a good time in Wimbledon," unquote. Swiatek has limited experience playing on grass courts and has yet to win any tournament on that type of surface. Also, she did decide to skip preparation tournaments on grass leading to Wimbledon, a decision made by her and her coaching staff due to her recent French Open victory. Despite the early exit, Swiatek remains confident in her decision and is focused on the rest of her year, which I think shows a lot more to her character and passion for the sport, because she's not giving up, and that shows a lot of motivation, determination she just has in the sport in general. She said, quote, "You never know, I could have got injured in the second match because I practiced straight away after Roland Garros in that case. I think my coaches are pretty good at planning. They chose the right option for this year, but we'll see what's going to happen next year," unquote. And then also pretty shocking, Coco Gauff was also eliminated in the first week. Rather than despairing over the upsets in the women's draw at Wimbledon, Coco Gauff believes the tournament's entertainment value has never been higher, and she really just focused on that in a lot of her interviews, which really shows a lot more to her character as well. Reputations have mattered little at this year's grass court major. Out of 13 women's Grand Slam champions who began the tournament, only 3 remain standing at the end of Sunday's play. Elena Rybakina is the sole remaining player who has experienced the thrill of holding the Venus Rosewater dish. The other 2 survivors, Jelena Ostapenko and Barbara Kreskova, are in the top half of the draw with Rybakina. Sorry, I sincerely apologize for mispronouncing anybody's names. This guarantees at least 1 new Grand Slam finalist from the bottom half, where the highest seed left is Jasmine Paolini at 7th. Gauff tipped as a future Wimbledon champion ever since she stunned Venus Williams in the first round of the 2019 tournament as a 15-year-old. We'll now have to wait at least another year, unfortunately. The US Open champion was unexpectedly out by compatriot Emma Navarro on Sunday. Considering that both of the top 2 seeds are out before the quarterfinals, with world #1 Iga Swiatek falling in the 3rd round, like I said, Gauff advises against placing too much emphasis on seedings. And she is right. We do really look at that, but it doesn't, at the end of the day, we all get shocked by who ends up coming on top sometimes, and that's because we have this whole mindset of looking at seedings when it's should we really be looking at that all the time? I don't know. Gauff said, quote, "I played so many slams where anybody can win. The seed is just a number, just an advantage so you don't play another seed in the first round. That doesn't mean you can't lose, as we've seen a lot of seeds drop out. We've seen defending champions drop out. Even though the unseeded players may not be as well known, they're incredibly talented. Fans of the game can be disrespectful towards other players on tour. Maybe their ranking isn't there, but their level is. They're here for a reason. They deserve their spot. There's no easy draw. This is a competitive sport, and we all want to win," unquote. This year, Wimbledon has underscored the fact that with the last 7 editions held by 7 different players from seven different nations, if that makes sense, the era of repeat champions like Martina Navratilova, Steffi Graf, Venus Williams, and Serena Williams seems to be fading. Gauff said, quote, "When you see 7 different champions in the past few years, it shows there's much depth in the game. I think it's great. It makes the sport entertaining. There are no easy matches. It pushes me as a player to want to be better," unquote. Also, let's talk about Danielle Collins. Danielle Collins made headlines at Wimbledon with a passionate defense of female tennis players, urging her fellow athletes to embrace and support each other against being unfairly labeled as emotional on tour. After securing a straight sets victory over Beatrice Haddad-Maia, Collins set up a 4th round clash with former world #1 Barbara Krejcikova. I'm sorry, I literally am so bad at pronouncing her name, but if y'all keep up with tennis, y'all know who I am talking about. With the 30-year-old Floridian hoping to reach the quarterfinals at Wimbledon for the first time in her career. Collins has only reached the last 8 of the Grand Slam once before, at the 2020 French Open, Now in what she has announced as her final year on tour due to battling 2 chronic health conditions and a desire to focus on her family, she has a strong chance to make a deep run at the British major, with none of the top 3 seeds remaining in her side of the draw. Collins, who will retire at the end of the season, delivered a passionate and explicit plea for unity among her peers. And I mention explicit here, and because there are no foul language in this channel, I'm going to be using F-beep, okay? So I think you can predict what word I'm trying to say here. Okay, so she said, quote, "I try to keep everyone as entertained as possible throughout my career. From graduating college to now, I've always brought passion. We get framed as emotional and frustrated and this and that, and I'm just like, F-beep that. I wear my heart on my sleeve and I'll always wear passion. As women, we should really embrace that, support each other, and use that passion to ignite ourselves. I think that's a lot," unquote. Despite her strong form in 2024, which saw her climb back into the world top 10 before dropping 11 just before Wimbledon, Collins has no plans to reconsider her decision to quit professional tennis. She remains focused on her performance at SW19, acknowledging the unique challenges Wimbledon presents. She added, quote, "I've gone far in other slams, but I haven't gone far here," unquote. Also making headlines right now is Emma Navarro. Emma Navarro was already enjoying an excellent season before Wimbledon began. The 23-year-old clinched her first title in Hobart and made a breakthrough at the French Open by reaching the 4th round. Despite this, many doubted her potential for a deep run at Wimbledon due to her lack of experience on grass. However, she has defied expectations by advancing to her maiden Grand Slam quarterfinal after overcoming U.S. Open champion Coco Gauff in London and defeating 4-time Grand Slam winner Naomi Osaka in the 2nd round. Navarro's improving results this year indicate she will be a force in women's tennis for years to come. Here's why Navarro's rise is a significant positive for women's tennis. Over the past 2 decades, there has been a clear shift towards baseline hitting in both men's and women's tennis, with most players aiming to overpower their opponents. Players like French Open champion Iga Swiatek and Coco Gauff rely on their athleticism and powerful baseline game. In contrast, Navaro offers a refreshing alternative. While she can step into the court and hit through the ball, Navaro compensates for her lack of blistering power with other qualities. She employs heavy topspin on her forehand to push opponents back, making it difficult for them to strike through her. Additionally, she frequently changes the pace of rallies with her backhand slice and effective drop shots. Navarro's proficiency at the net, honed through regular doubles play, adds another dimension to her game. Her precision in ground strokes was evident against Gauff at Wimbledon, where she consistently targeted Gauff's weaker forehand. Just a very smart player. Navarro's diverse skill set creates a complete and varied game, contrasting the dominant power hitting style and enriching the overall viewing experience for tennis fans. Navarro's journey also highlights that players can succeed without turning professional immediately. While some young talents like Coco Gauff manage early professional careers well, others may benefit from developing their skills and maturity in college tennis. Navarro played at the University of Virginia from 2020 to 2022, following in the footsteps of Danielle Collins. As a freshman, she won the NCAA Championship singles title in 2021, earning a wild card in that year's U.S. Open. Navaro has spoken about how her college experience made her a better player in person, underscoring that there are multiple paths to success in professional tennis. Emma Navarro's rise is a testament to the evolving and diverse landscape of women's tennis. Her unique playing style, calm demeanor, and non-traditional path to professionalism contribute to a richer and more varied sport that continues to captivate fans worldwide. The last thing I wanted to talk about regarding Wimbledon is that there was a dress code issue that forced female tennis stars to return to the locker rooms to change their sports bras, highlighting the, how do I say this word? Oh my gosh, rigidity. I can't say that word. But rigidity. Okay, you get the point. Of the rules at the iconic Grand Slam. The All England Lawn Tennis Club, or AELTC, has long demanded all-white attire extending even to undergarments. Though these rules were relaxed last year to allow dark colored clothing underneath, following players' complaints about anxiety related to menstruation, the situation was vastly different a decade ago. Women's tennis star Sabine Lisicki recalled some of the past controversy during Amazon Prime's coverage of the series Wimbledon. Lisicki, currently on maternity leave, said, quote, "There was a year when a lot of players were sent back because their bras weren't completely white, because they stuck out a little, even though they were skin colored," unquote. She mentioned that Serena Williams was one of the people that were affected by this. This incident likely occurred during the 2014 edition where similar controversies arose. Female players were astonishingly instructed to compete without sports bras. With British star Naomi Brody being a notable victim, Brody played her second round match against Caroline Wozniacki without a sports bra, losing in straight sets. At that time, the rules stated, and I'm quoting the rules here, quote, any undergarments that either are or can be visible during play, including due to perspiration, must also be completely white except for a single trim of color no wider than 1 centimeter, unquote. Former Wimbledon champion Pat Cash was outraged, calling the decision by the All England Club, quote, absolutely ridiculous. He told BBC Radio 5 Live, quote, some of the girls have been told to go back and change their bras and tops because they have slight color on them. I believe some of the girls didn't have suitable sports bras and had to go without them. It has absolutely gone ridiculous, unquote. In response to these stringent rules, Venus Williams once threatened to wear an animal print beneath her white kit, but later backed down, admitting that the white attire is a nice change from the rest of the calendar. However, in 2016, she wore a pink bra during the win over Elise Mertens in the first round, resulting in a quick wardrobe change after a short rain delay. When asked about the incident, Williams responded, quote, yeah, so I don't want to talk about undergarments. It's kind of awkward for me. I'll leave that to you. You can talk about it with your friends. I'm going to pass, unquote. Male players have also faced issues with the dress code. Roger Federer was told to ditch his orange-soled Nike shoes in 2013. This year, Novak Djokovic was allowed to wear a gray strap on his knee following surgery, saying, quote, we're trying to find a white one, trust me, I like to go all white and respect the rules, unquote. The strict dress code at Wimbledon has long been a topic of debate, and while changes have been made to accommodate player concerns, it remains a unique and sometimes controversial aspect of the prestigious tournament. I think the strict enforcement of the dress code, such as players being sent back to the locker rooms to change their bras because they weren't completely white or being forced to play without suitable sports bras, just is pretty ridiculous, and it's just kind of out of touch with modern sports and society in general. In my opinion, Wimbledon should continue to evolve its dress code to better align with contemporary values and the needs of its players. This doesn't mean abandoning tradition entirely, but finding a middle ground where the tournament's history is honored without compromising the athlete's comfort and respect. The recent rule changes are positive steps, but more can be done to ensure Wimbledon remains a prestigious and welcoming event for all players. I understand the point of dress codes, I do, but I feel like you can't just limit to like just white sports bras, because that's just not like really convenient at all. And like white sports bras are not the most flattering. I'm trying not to say this without being too like much, but it's just, they typically don't have as much coverage, is basically what I'm saying. And yeah, but I understand the point of dress codes, but I do think they can evolve this a lot more. I have a lot more to say about this dress code. If you guys are interested in hearing more about my opinions, I will be down to talk about it in another segment. So leave a comment and I will definitely get back to you on that. So we're now going to move into the next segment where we talk about some NWSL updates. Before we get into that, we're going to be taking a very short break. So I will see you guys very soon.